Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there something in your life that you've always wanted to do, but maybe you haven't really admitted to anybody that you want to do it, and you might not have even fully have admitted it to yourself? There was something that I'd been kind of sitting on for a couple of years in my life that I have taken action on this month. So today I'm going to talk about why it took me so long and why so many of us do the same thing. Okay, not great for the continuity. I've just made myself a little tea, but anyway, let's get into it. So welcome back if you have been here before, and if you're new, my name is Alicia, and this is a space for honest discussions around personal development and kind of becoming who you are and who you've maybe always wanted to be. And today I want to talk about trying, and I think more importantly, kind of admitting to yourself that you want to try, because I think somewhere along the way that became like a surprisingly difficult thing to do. And I think that kind of relates to something that absolutely baffles me, which is, sorry, my cat is playing in a box, and so if you hear any rustling in the background, then that is what that is. If it gets crazy, which it has done multiple times since I started filming this video, but if it gets crazy again, I'll pause, but let's see. So I actually want to start with something that I find baffling. We live in a world where success is idolized, and it feels like as a society we just can't get enough of it, like whether that's like kind of a glow up or celebrity culture, which in itself is something to be discussed. I feel like we love like a transformation or kind of a look at where I am now, look at me now sort of thing, which, look, I love that too. I think that is very fun to watch. It's very interesting to me, but I feel like something that doesn't quite connect with that way of thinking is that people massively mock other people for trying to get to that point. And when people are kind of seen to be trying, there's always a bit of a cringe to it. Like people will kind of say that it's cringe, like it's cringe to try, or they will feel, whether people are saying it or not, people will often feel like embarrassed that they're trying. And I'm saying people, I have been people, like I still kind of am, to be honest, because there is just this feeling around trying, and especially admitting that you want to try. And I think something that I've seen a lot lately is this big kind of movement, or maybe I'm just getting funneled this in my algorithm, but this big movement to like move in silence, don't tell anybody what you're doing, don't share what you're doing, don't kind of let people in until it's done. And I think I've mentioned in previous videos about like being a big perfectionist, and that I want to do more videos around that, which is definitely something that I will do. But a big kind of, this is a little tangent, a big thought process around perfectionism is this feeling of done, and kind of correlating something being done with being perfect. And this kind of shift towards just showing people something when it's done and when it's complete and you've reached that kind of pinnacle is, I mean, for me, I'm somebody who loves watching like process videos. Like I love watching the videos of people kind of saying, this is where I'm starting, come with me on the journey. I really enjoy that sort of content. So for me, selfishly, I'm like, bring me along because I want to see it. I think on a wider scale, this kind of affects people's relationship to how much trying goes into getting to that point a lot of the time. There are definitely situations where people haven't necessarily had to try as much as others might have to, of course, but in general, it can be quite easy to kind of almost like expect certain things to happen at a certain speed or a certain way, because we're not being let in on the process, which means that feeling like you're trying can feel quite embarrassing, and it can maybe feel like you're really behind. And so if you're feeling that embarrassment, you may find that time just keeps passing and you're not working on things that you really want to do. And this is where playing it safe comes in, which I have absolutely done that in many aspects of my life. And the thing with playing it safe is it isn't like a huge decision. You're not just kind of thinking, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to try. It's more in like the little kind of ways that you ignore the little voice in your head, or a little urge that you have to try something, or maybe just some sort of, and this sounds a little bit woo-woo, but I kind of do enjoy some of that stuff and relate to it. But this kind of like pull, like I feel like sometimes we... Oh! Sorry about that. I feel like sometimes we do just get these like pulls to try stuff, and when you quieten that voice over and over in these small little ways when it happens, you end up in just a state of constantly playing it safe. And when you're constantly playing it safe and you're ignoring that inner voice, eventually that inner voice just quietens almost completely. And that's nothing to be scared of. That actually sounds, now that I've said that, I'm like, that actually sounds a bit scary. But you can bring it back. You can bring it back easy. Maybe not easy, but you can bring it back. But eventually these things that you do put off and that you quieten, they just turn into lists. Now, if you watched my last video, I did mention having a 5-year plan list. So we're going to get into that a little bit now. And I am not saying that you shouldn't have these lists, because clearly I do them a lot. I do think that there's a lot of value in it. As mentioned in my last video, being able to reflect and reconnect with a past self is a really good, like, valuable thing of these lists. But they can become a little bit of a comfort blanket. Like, how I could relate this to something is something that I do sometimes do, is I will write something that I'm either just about to finish doing or have done at the top of my to-do list, so it's like an instant tick. And that sort of thing of like when you've written something down, it feels like you've done it, like it already feels a bit like it's done, or like just by writing it down, you're already on your way to achieving it. And I do think that sometimes with these lists, that can be a thing. But that's what I'm here to help with. That's what I'm here to kind of, work through with you if you ever have those feelings around the goals and the things that you want to achieve. So if you haven't watched my last video, the thing that was on my 5-year plan list that I wrote on there about 2 years ago was to become a bar instructor, and this month I have started my qualification in that. But if we take it all the way back to 2 years ago, when I put that on the list, I wrote it down and I was like, cool, great, that feels good. And I kept going to my classes, but I wasn't really doing much else with that information. I wasn't researching courses particularly, or I was kind of browsing but not with any kind of intention. And I didn't message anybody in the community. I didn't get to know people in the community or in the industry. I just kind of felt good that I'd written it down and that I was going to my classes, and that was that. So then we come into this month where I have actually started my qualification, and the steps I took around that were doing the research, reaching out to people in the industry, messaging them, people who had done the specific qualification that I'm doing, kind of speaking to them, asking them how it was, how they found it, making those connections, and doing all of that over a couple of weeks just felt like momentum. And I was like, okay, the ball is rolling, like this is something that I'm actually doing now. It felt really, really scary. Like, wanting to do that sort of qualification just felt like it almost, like now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? But it felt very out of reach, and I think that's because of a few factors. With the main one being that it just feels like completely new territory for me, and there were a lot of fears around, what if I don't enjoy it? What if I'm actually not good at it? And what if it doesn't work out? But the feeling of what if it does work out felt so much stronger, and so I started my qualification. And the voicing it, the kind of telling people around me that I've started it, telling people around me just before I'd started it that I was gonna do it, that was a big one, because then you've got that accountability factor too. But telling people around me and admitting that, you know, I want to try and become a bar instructor, was really scary, and it did feel uncomfortable. But then the feeling of actually starting the qualification and working towards it feels so much better than that. So yeah, I think a huge part of that is once you've actually said something, so whether that's kind of sharing online, you might not even be telling people in your life, but maybe you're sharing it online, or you're telling your friends and family, or also just admitting it to yourself. It kind of takes it out of like daydream land and it makes it become real. It becomes something that has direction, and that is both incredibly exciting and incredibly terrifying. And that's the thing, once you kind of train yourself out of the space of thinking or discussing into doing, you give yourself the opportunity to build momentum. And there's something really kind of powerful and encouraging in being witnessed trying, and the sense of community that builds from admitting to the people around you or sharing your journey online is so important. And it also really helps with the whole accountability piece too. So this feels like it, to be honest, it feels a little bit more like a little pep talk to anybody who might be struggling to admit to themselves that they want to try something, or to share with the people around them that they want to try something. Because I think that in those few weeks when I was kind of doing my research and getting just about ready to actually go for it, I think I probably needed to see a little bit of stuff like this. Like, I feel like my YouTube search history would show that I was searching like bar instructor day in the life, bar instructor come to work with me, but trying to find something just to kind of, you know, give me that little boost to do it. So if you are out there and you are thinking, I've always wanted to try to become a painter, or I've always wanted to try to join a band, or I've always wanted to try and start my own business, whatever it is, this is your kind of push to admit to yourself and admit to either somebody who is in your community that you feel is very trustworthy, or share your journey online and just try. Because the thing is it's not too late to start. It's not too late to want something new for yourself. It's not too late to start something new. And it's also not too late to admit to yourself that you want to become someone new. Because the thing is to allow yourself to try is also to allow yourself to trust your own instincts. And that kind of self-trust, trusting that you know what you want and you know what you need to do, is so, so valuable. And if it doesn't work out as you planned, then you learn from it and you move on to the next thing that you want to try. So my question for you is there anything that you really want to try, or that you're kind of scared of admitting to yourself or people around you that you want to try? If there is, let me know. I would love to hear about what you want to try, whether that's in the comments, or you can reach out to me through my website, which is linked below. And I guess my final message is that you don't need to feel embarrassed for trying. All those people who are in those places that you think, oh wow, I really want to get there, I really want to do that, they tried. At some point they were trying, and that's how they reached that point. So you do not need to feel embarrassed. And finally, if you would like some help kind of figuring out what it is you want to try or how to go about it, then that is the kind of work that I can do with you. So if you want to have a chat, feel free to reach out. My website is below. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.